Well, for years, the Ottawa Senators had to answer a question. How come you can never take a 2-0 series lead? 8 times previously, they've been up 1-0. 8 times previously, they lost game number 2. Thanks to Joe Corvo, they're never going to have to answer that question again because they're now 1-8 in game 2s when they have a 1-0 lead. They are now in control of this series, winning 2 in Buffalo and going home up 2-0. Here's how Bob Cole called the game tonight.
Very composed. Penaganos. Penaganos scored. How about that? This is Newman and shot it. Knocked down. Rebound. Score. Jochen Hecht. Oh, moving in looking for a goal is Higley. In the Alfredson. Scores. What a beautiful play. Up high with a shot. And the Senators are on the board. 2-0. Goes back to Mazzaros. And the shot scored. They tied it up. Just like that, that bullet shot from the far side. Fisher, easily behind the goal. 15 seconds remaining. Here's the shot by Redden. He scores. Redden with a high shot. And with 16 seconds left in the period, on the door down to the puck. Man open. Shot. Score. Greer. Wow. 1 to go. Long shot. Corvo scores. Corvo, bullet shot from the blue line. Ottawa has taken a 2-0 lead in the best of 7. A stunning win by Ottawa with Joe Corvo from inside the blue line. A drive that Miller couldn't move on.
Joe Corvo is a really good story, and people in Ottawa are familiar with it. In case you aren't, he signed a 4-year, $10 million deal before this season as a free agent, came over from the LA Kings, and he really struggled at the start of the year. So did Tom Pricing also, coming into a new system, a new conference. And Corvo is a guy, Brian Murray says, who really beats himself up. And when he made mistakes, he was getting down on himself. He wanted to justify the salary. He wanted to justify the acquisition. And he was really beating himself up. He went home at the All-Star break. He lives in Chicago. And he's talked about how he met with his father and his father-in-law. And they just said to him, "You don't look like yourself." And he had a long talk with the two of them. He said it was a major turning point in his season. And the other thing, too, about Corvo is he stopped watching tape of himself. Because he said, "I would make 10 good plays and 1 bad one, and I would obsess about the bad one." So they had him stop doing that too. It's made a huge difference. He's been a big player. Brian Murray said coming into the playoffs he would be a big player for us, and he has been with that overtime winner. And because he was bringing Scott Morrison, I took Joe Corvo in my playoff pool because Brian Murray said he was going to be good. So hopefully I'll win money out of this too. Scott, what'd you think about tonight?
Well, obviously it was a tale of 2 games in many ways. Buffalo came out with what was their best period probably of the playoffs and looked like a team possessed. And
that's what John Paddock said too, their best period of the playoffs.
Absolutely, but I think Ottawa showed a lot of poise, and I think John talked about that as well, and their ability to bounce back in that game, and they hung in there, they chipped away, and that's really been what this team's been all about. And you talk about Corvo, how he struggled during that first part of the season. Well, he wasn't the only one, because you think about that entire Ottawa team through their first 36 games. They weren't very good. They were 12th in the conference, last in their division. All of a sudden now, over the last 57 games, they've lost just 9 times, and they keep, and I mentioned this on the hot stove tonight, I talked to a couple of other coaches around the league today, and they just look like a team that has had enough of the past and is so poised and so disciplined and so confident right now that they feel under any circumstances they can get the job done.
By the way, we saw Ron and Don leaving there talking with Bob Cole and Roy Malacher. Now the A team, the B team is gone, the A team is in. Here we go. You know, the other thing, Junior,
you can
online.
say that because Don doesn't log on. You know that.
Don can't hear me. Let's take a look at the Ottawa ice times, and I think you're going to see, as usual, a lot of big numbers. Alfredson, 30 minutes tonight, and one shift in overtime seemed like it went for about 2.5. Mike Fisher, just another unbelievable performance. Don was talking about Antoine Vermette. He won the big face-off at the end of regulation, but Ottawa couldn't get the puck out, and the Sabres scored to tie the game. And the fourth line, you know, there was a game this year, December 16th, that fourth line, it was McCammon with Hamel and McGrattan, zeros. Now they can play, and it's a big difference. We want to send you, though, quick to Lindy Ruff at the podium.
Going to Ottawa.
Not disappointed, obviously, with the loss. I thought we played played a real sound game.
Is this a situation where when Danny scores that goal, can you take us through the emotions there? I know that maybe it's hard given what happened with the final result, but when he scores that goal, is the mood that, we're going to do it again?
Well, obviously we're upbeat and positive. We believed in the last minute we were gonna tie it up, and I thought the guys worked hard, on the retrieval and got a puck to the net and got a little bit of a bounce, and you end up tying the game up. But it's it was a hard-fought game where they got handed another 5-on-3, which same as the previous game on tough calls, which I'm disappointed with that.
Did you buy the explanation they gave on Vanek's on the non-goal?
I'm just going to stay with what I said in the last series. You hope they get it right. It's a tough call. It's a tough call. I thought the guys remained focused and went back to work after that, but that's a tough call.
You've been a quality road team throughout the regular season. Can you draw from that going into obviously these 2 games in Ottawa?
Well, we mentioned that right after the game. We were one of the best road teams in the league. So, I thought there was a lot of things to like about the game. You don't like losing. You get a tough bounce that just found a way of going in. But I thought for the most part we cleaned up our game and we played. Like I said, I thought all lines played well for us, and we got real good effort out of almost everybody.
Again, special teams, Lindy, it's the penalty kill plus the power play. How much can you work on those? Is there more work you can do?
No. You know what? You look at the shot that beat Ryan. It's a shot you'd hope that Ryan makes the save there. It was from out of the middle of the ice, and I think it just fooled him a little bit. The 5-on-3 goal. It's 5-on-3 is tough to defend. It was a pass that went through a Tallender and end up on red and stick for a perfect one-timer. Give us a couple 5-on-3s.
Is Tallender okay? And obviously he came back, but and your thoughts on that play?
Oh, I thought it was definitely a check from behind. There's no doubt in my mind there, and we'll see how.